Necker Island, written by Arabella and Alex. Necker Island is an island in the Caribbean, just north of Virgin Gouda. The island is in the BVI's, and that's where we were from April 12th to April 27th. We were in Virgin Gouda when we were invited to see Necker Island and the animals. We were so excited to go because we loved animals and heard that they had flamingos there. We've only seen a couple and can't recall the times we did. Once we arrived, we dinghied over to the dock and off the bat saw 2 baby flamingos standing on the beach. This got us excited, so we started the tour. Animals. For once I thought goats were cute. We saw a baby goat and it was named Richard. There were 2 others that were the mother and father of Richard. Scarlet macaws. Macaws were quite aggressive, at least when we saw them. We tried to take a picture, but they tried to bite us. Some species, like this one, can sometimes mimic human speech when it's in captive. Scarlet ibis. The scarlet ibis is a bright red bird that when we were there often mistaken them as small flamingos. The scarlet ibis is also the national bird of Trinidad and Tobago. Giant tortoise. The tortoise we saw was called Umpire, their biggest tortoise. We tickled his toes and touched his shell. It weighed 2 tons. There were baby giant tortoises were tiny though, as small as our palm. Our favorite animals there. Flamingos. Flamingos are wading birds that can be found in Africa, North and South America, and some parts of Europe and Asia. They are known for their bright pink pigments on their feathers, their S-shaped necks, and their stilt-like legs. They have been around for more than 30 million years, and people used to eat them. A flamingo's diet. A flamingo's diet includes algae, small seeds, tiny crustaceans like shrimp, larvae, and other plants and animals that live in the shallow waters. They are filter feeders, meaning they're able to collect food and strain the water out. When you think of filter eaters, you would usually go to sea animals, such as whale sharks and the manta ray. They start by spotting the food, then dunking their head into the water, twisting it upside down. Then they continue by swaying their head from side to side, scooping their food with the upper beak as if it was a shovel. They use their tongue to pump water in and out of their bills. After catching enough food, they use their comb-like plates, which is how they filter it, which are on the edge of the beak, to strain out all the water, leaving the food inside. This happens over a course of a couple seconds. Pigments in food. Flamingos turn pink because of the pigments in their food, especially the shrimp and algae. The shrimp also gets its color from the algae, so basically both get their beautiful and vibrant pink from the algae living in the shallower parts of water. Many plants and animals have and produce natural red, yellow, or orange pigments. These pigments are called carotenoids, and these carotenoids are what make carrots orange and turn ripe tomatoes that glorious and luscious red. Crop milk. Other than milk produced by mammals or plants, birds also make milk. The milk that flamingos make are a highly nutritious, bright pink liquid made in an adult flamingo's throat. They feed it to the baby flamingos from their mouth. It's so densely packed with carotenoids, giving it that color, that at the end of mating season, both male and female flamingos come out almost white, having had almost all their beautiful pink pigments in their feathers drained out. When the baby flamingo is born, which is about 30 days after mating season, they come out grayish-white. The color looks similar to after the adults feed their children crop milk. The flamingos love dance. Flamingos are incredibly good dancers. They leap and prance, twist and stretch, scratch their neck, point a wing in one direction and a leg in the other. They bend down, point their tails, and flash their wings, giving off bright pink and bits of midnight black. Occasionally, about once a year, they march with their necks stretched out, pointing their beaks left and right, in a group sometimes of more than 100. They dance to find a mate. When we were there, every so often we caught a glimpse of one flamingo jumping on another, or a flamingo running on water thanks to their webbed feet that help them gain speed to take flight. Flamingos have hundreds of dance moves they do to attract a mate. The harder the move, the higher chance these exotic birds are to find a mate. Males and females both dance in search of a compatible partner. There are 6 species of flamingos: Greater flamingo, American flamingo, Lesser flamingo, Chilean flamingo, James flamingo, and Andean flamingo.
7 fun facts of flamingos.
Number 1. A group of flamingos is called a
Flamboyant.
There are more
Fake flamingos
in the world than real ones. Number 3. Flamingos can coil their neck and make 2 circles, 720 degrees. Number 4.
Flamingos can knees backwards.
What you're looking at is their ankle, and their knee is much further up. Number 5.
You can see flamingos standing on one leg because it keeps them warm.
Number 6. A flamingo's nest is made from mud. Both parents take turns sitting on it to keep the nest warm. Number 7.
Flamingos mate the same time, so the eggs hatch at the same time.
By the way, the flamingos in Necker Island are American flamingos, also known as Caribbean flamingos. Lemurs. Lemurs are the oldest living primates in the world. They lived long before humans, about 70 million years ago, when most primates roamed around Africa with dinosaurs. There are over 100 types of lemurs living in Madagascar. The smallest, Madame Bertha's mouse lemur, has a body weight of 30 grams. The biggest, the Indri, weighs 6 to 9.5 kilograms. That's the size of a human child. Yet other scientists believe that one extinct sloth family lemurs were the size of a gorilla. The only place that a lemur would call home is Madagascar. I believe during Pangea, lemurs roamed around Africa because there were rarely any predators around the area. When Pangea broke apart, they were still living in Madagascar. The types of lemur we saw there was mongoose lemurs. Here's a picture of a Madame Bertha's mouth and Indri. Lemurs. We actually have a lot more in common with lemurs than you think. Lemurs have brains like us that make them do things that we do. Sometimes we even do things that they do, like climbing, jumping, and swinging. They help maintain Madagascar's forest by eating fruit. The fruit seeds they digest becomes a young plant. They lived in trees and are known for being very active at night. In the wild, lemurs can live up to 15 years. During mating season for ringtail lemurs occurs to be between late April and early June. A female lemur only comes into season for 24 hours. Almost all lemur groups are run by a female lemur. As I said, lemurs are a lot like us, while some shocking news is that they sunbathe. In the morning sun, they can be found on the forest floor pressing their chest against the sun. Some lemurs sing capella, others communicate with stink. With a single leap, a lemur can jump up to 25 feet. Lemurs usually eat fruit, but they also eat leaves, flowers, tree bark, and sap. This story starts when we just finished ordering our drinks from the bar. As we started to walk down the lane, while we were walking through the path, we saw several lemurs jumping across the trees and stared down at us. Suddenly, we stopped at a gate with a door that led into an enclosure. The guide went through the caged door first. I wondered, why would it be so protected? What animal would want to escape so badly? And why? Could it be a macaw, since those were already able to fly? We were all curious on what could be in this closed-in room. Then, as we walked in, we realized that the animals have already escaped. It was the lemurs, their eyes full of greed, immediately shot to our drinks. Daddy said he could wait outside and we could give him our drinks. We agreed without hesitation. I walked into the middle of the wide enclosure. Just then, I heard a single short screech. I turned around and saw that the lemur had jumped on Arabella. I howled with laughter, and Arabella glared at me and asked me to take her camera out. I finally accepted and took her camera out of her backpack and positioned it so it made the perfect picture. Just as I was about to take the picture, something heavy landed on my back. When I realized what it was Arabella's turn to laugh. She cracked up as I stood in position for the picture. Once I finished, I got the lemur off my back, and the guide showed us himself feeding the lemurs these lemur pellets. Just then, as I was feeding another lemur, I heard another scream, but this one was high-pitched, so I knew it had to be Mimi. I quickly turned around and saw that a lemur had leaped on Uncle Alex, and he was holding Mimi, and Mimi was holding her drink. She screamed and thrashed, and Daddy came rushing in and took her away from Uncle Alex, and tried, and failed, to keep her calm. That was a thrilling experience, maybe even a once-in-a-lifetime. In the end, we came to a villa and someone very important came out. It was Richard Branson. It was shocking to all. Daddy was stunned. Richard Branson was his idol. Daddy decided to speak, but he kept on stammering over his words. That was a once-in-a-lifetime experience. Thank you for listening to our project about Necker Island.